There is a moment when everything quiets down, even if the world outside keeps spinning. It's a subtle moment, almost imperceptible, where the soul whispers something the mind has yet to understand. You might be living that moment now, perhaps without realizing it. A point when the exhaustion from chasing change externally becomes heavier than the hope that anything out there will truly shift. And then comes the emptiness. Not the emptiness of absence, but of invitation. A silent calling, almost secret, to turn inward. To listen more deeply to what the body feels, what the heart senses, what your intuition has long tried to say. Have you noticed how reality often repeats itself? As if you were trapped in an invisible cycle, where no matter how much you change things on the outside, everything keeps returning to the same place. Perhaps it's because the change you seek doesn't begin outside. It starts in how you think, how you feel, how you vibrate. It starts in the invisible architecture of the mind. Joe Dispenza, a researcher who bridges neuroscience and spirituality with rare sensitivity, teaches that the brain does not distinguish reality from imagination. That all external reality is a faithful mirror of what happens internally, in the silent repetition of thoughts, beliefs, and emotions. Your mind is not a supporting actor in your life. It is the stage, the script, and the director of every scene. If it's programmed by fear, scarcity, or trauma, what manifests will be a distorted version of your true potential. But if it's reprogrammed, nourished by new beliefs, new images, new emotions, then reality begins to respond on another frequency. It starts offering new possibilities. It begins to reveal paths that once seemed locked. And that's why this video exists. It's not just content. It's an anchor. A portal. A reminder of who you really are beneath the pain, the frustrations, the failures, and the fear. Here, you'll discover how to rewire your mind with a foundation of science and soul. You'll come to understand, deeply, how your consciousness shapes matter, how your emotions become magnets, how your subconscious defines what you attract or repel. And more than just understanding, you'll feel it. Because true change doesn't happen when the mind comprehends, but when the heart agrees. Allow yourself to listen with presence. Come back whenever you need. Repeat as many times as your soul asks. Because this video was created as a ritual of reconnection. A vibrational practice to align you with what you're ready to manifest. And it all begins with a quiet, almost imperceptible decision, to return within. To return to yourself. To remember that the mind is your greatest ally, or your deepest saboteur. And everything can change, when you change the way you think, feel, and vibrate. This is the beginning of your return. A return to the abundance that already exists. To the success that is already in potential. To the life your soul has always known was possible. Take a deep breath. The journey begins now. The human mind is a constantly expanding universe, yet it often becomes an invisible prison shaped by past experiences that leave deep, silent imprints. Throughout life, we absorb ideas, phrases, traumas, and fears like someone collecting stones along the road. Unknowingly, we carry those stones in the pockets of our soul. They become the lenses through which we see the world, and the world, obediently, responds to that distorted vision. At the center of this silent creation lies the subconscious. It doesn't judge, filter, or question. It simply records and plays back. It is like fertile soil that accepts any seed. If the seeds are scarcity, fear, or inadequacy, those are the fruits reality will bear. If they are trust, love, and worthiness, those will be the harvest. The subconscious does not distinguish truth from repetition, it records whatever is felt most intensely or repeated most often. Childhood experiences, for instance, create mental programs that continue to run long after we grow up. The absence of affection, fear of not being accepted, guilt for wanting more than seemed allowed, all of these accumulate like hidden codes, shaping your choices, relationships, and even your sense of deserving. The present, then, becomes a vibrational repetition of the past. And without awareness, the cycle continues. But here's the good news, and it's powerful: this can change. Neuroscience has confirmed that the brain is plastic. It can reorganize. It forms new connections every time you experience a new thought with emotional presence. Joe Dispenza teaches that every time you think something different, with clear intention and elevated emotion, you literally reshape your brain. It's like rewriting a map that once led to scarcity, to now lead to wholeness. This reconfiguration doesn't happen only on a mental level. It has visible effects on the body, behavior, habits, and the way you show up in the world. When you think differently, you feel differently. And when you feel differently, you act differently. It's this new behavior that starts to create a new reality. But it all begins in the mind. In the invisible. In the vibrational field. Yet, thought alone is like a seed without water. Emotion is what activates the energy. It vibrates into the field. It communicates to the universe what you are truly ready to experience. And not just any emotion, but elevated emotions, the ones that expand your chest, brighten your eyes, and build a bridge between rational mind and intuitive heart. Gratitude, for example, is one of the most powerful. When you feel gratitude for something you're still in the process of manifesting, the universe treats it as if it's already real. And it begins to move circumstances to match that vibration. Love, joy, contentment, all of these emotions create a frequency that attracts matching experiences. It's like tuning into a radio station: you only hear the music clearly when you're on the right frequency. The reality you live is not a reflection of what you want, but of what you feel. Emotion is the vibrational code that directs the field around you. And the field always responds. Because the universe doesn't judge. It mirrors. So if you want to transform your life, begin within. Be mindful of what you think, what you feel, what you believe is possible. Your subconscious is the programmer of your existence. Your brain can be rewired. And your emotions are the most honest messages you send to the universe. There is no magic in this. There is awareness. There is intention. There is practice. And that changes everything. Understanding alone does not transform. Experience does. Change comes through embodiment, through repetition, through feeling. Because the mind doesn't shift with ideas alone, it shifts through lived rituals, through emotionally charged habits. It's like tuning an instrument that has long been out of tune. At first, it may sound unfamiliar, even uncomfortable. But in time, a new frequency begins to emerge. And what once felt like effort, becomes flow. Meditation is the sacred space where the mind softens and the soul begins to speak. It's not about emptying thoughts, it's about observing what lives within with honesty and kindness. Joe Dispenza teaches that in deep meditative states, you access the subconscious like opening a window to reprogramming. It's in this silence that old patterns begin to dissolve. It's in this sacred stillness that new beliefs can be planted, gently, like seeds in fertile ground. When you meditate, you slow down the brain waves. You step out of survival mode and into the creative. It's like stepping out of the storm and into a still lake. In this state, the brain becomes more receptive to new information. Images, words, and feelings reach deeper layers. And in that space, without resistance, the new begins to take root. Daily meditation, even for a few minutes, is like watering your inner garden. Over time, clarity, serenity, and creative power begin to blossom. The mind does not differentiate between what is real and what is vividly imagined with emotion. This is what makes visualization a powerful tool. When you vividly imagine the life you want, and feel that image with your heart, you are sending signals to your brain that this is already happening. Neural networks begin to reorganize. Hormones shift. The body responds. And the energy around you begins to vibrate differently. Visualization is not about just seeing images. It's about emotionally living them from within. Hearing the sounds, touching the objects, feeling your own smile. It's about feeling the vibration of already being successful, already living abundantly, already walking in joy. When you emotionally place yourself in your desired future, you create a magnetic field that draws that future into your present. The clearer the image, the stronger the emotion, the faster the vibrational alignment. The words you repeat to yourself every day become the backdrop of your identity. And often, without realizing it, you repeat destructive affirmations: I'm not enough, this never works for me, I always mess things up. These phrases dig deep pathways in your brain, and they guide your life quietly but powerfully. Changing this inner dialogue is essential. And positive affirmations are the first step. Affirmations are not empty phrases. They are vibrational commands. They are declarations of a new truth you are choosing to sustain. And the more you repeat them with presence and emotion, the more your subconscious accepts them as reality. Some powerful examples include: I am worthy of a full and abundant life, abundance flows to me with ease and joy, my mind is a channel for conscious creation. Say them out loud. Feel their impact in your body. Repeat them with trust. Daily repetition is not about force, it's about rewiring. Every time you speak a new truth, you're carving a new version of yourself. And over time, that version stops being intention, and becomes identity. Practicing meditation, visualization, and affirmations daily aligns your thoughts, emotions, and energy in one unified direction. It creates an internal harmony that is reflected in the external world. These practices are not about control. They are invitations to return to your center. To remember your power. To live with intention. Because you are not here just to survive. You are here to create. The path of transformation is not a straight line. Knowing what to do is not enough, you must also face the resistance that emerges from within. Because as much as you want to change, a part of you still holds fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of failure, fear of losing what's familiar. These inner walls are not signs of weakness. They are ancient protective mechanisms. And the first step to dissolving them is seeing them clearly. How many times have you given up before even trying? Whispering to yourself, this isn't for me, it's too late, nothing ever changes. These are not passing thoughts. They are echoes of deep-rooted beliefs that have been there for years. Limiting beliefs are like invisible veils between you and the life you want. They act like filters, shaping how you see your capabilities, your opportunities, your worth. To identify them is to turn on a light in a dark room. You begin to notice what once went unseen. And that awareness alone is healing. When you question an old belief, you create space for a new one to be born. Ask yourself, where did this thought come from? Is it truly mine? Or is it something I inherited emotionally from those who raised me? That reflection interrupts the mental loop. And suddenly, a new possibility begins to breathe. Many people live in silent conflict because they think one thing, and feel another. They want abundance, but feel guilt at the thought of thriving. They crave love, but fear surrender. This disconnect between mind and heart creates an incoherent frequency. The universe senses this, and responds with mixed signals. Joe Dispenza teaches that aligning thought and emotion is essential. When the heart and brain enter coherence, the electromagnetic field around the body expands, and this creates a more powerful frequency of manifestation. To achieve this, you must quiet the analytical mind and allow your feeling to take the lead. Connect with your heart. Breathe slowly. Recall a moment of genuine gratitude. Let that warmth spread. In that state, any intention you hold becomes clearer, purer, stronger. It is in this coherence that true transformation happens. Not because the universe rewards those who ask the right way, but because it responds to vibrational clarity with mathematical precision. Feeling matters more than thinking. Feeling with honesty changes everything. No transformation happens without time. And no time is fruitful without persistence. The mind doesn't change in one day, just as a tree doesn't blossom with its first drop of sunlight. Change is nurtured through quiet repetition, through sacred rhythm, through inner commitment. On days when it seems like nothing is shifting, that's often when the deepest change is taking place. And if you give up then, you break the rhythm. Persistence is not about rigidity. It's about gentle devotion. It's about knowing that even when the results haven't arrived, something inside you already has. The mind is learning. The heart is healing. Your vibration is adjusting. Joe Dispenza shares stories of people who have healed chronic illnesses, transformed their finances, discovered new purpose, all because they chose not to quit. Even when it was hard. Even when there were no immediate signs. They kept showing up. They made it consistent. And the universe responded. Persistence is faith in motion. It's the bridge between the unseen and the seen. It's the practice that sustains a new identity until it no longer feels like change, but home. Because transforming the mind is like crossing a bridge between two worlds. And every step, no matter how small, is sacred. As you walk through these truths, you may begin to feel a different kind of silence. Not the silence of emptiness, but the silence of presence. A living stillness that gently whispers, "You've always had the power." And perhaps that is the greatest secret of all, that nothing and no one outside of you has the authority to decide your path. Because the reality you live is not a coincidence, it is a reflection. And that reflection shifts the moment you do. You don't need to become someone new. You only need to remember who you are beneath the layers of fear, conditioning, and pain. Abundance is not a reward, it is your natural state when aligned with your essence. Success is not something to chase, it is the spontaneous expression of one who lives in coherence with their heart. With every meditation, every visualization, every conscious affirmation, you rewire your mind. You rebuild your perception. You begin to emit a new frequency, and the world, in turn, begins to dance in rhythm with that change. And even when nothing seems to change on the outside, something already has. Because you have changed. This journey requires practice, yes. It demands presence. But above all, it asks for choice. The daily choice to return to your center. To care for your vibration as if it were sacred soil. To sustain higher frequencies until they become your new reality. You can return to this video every day. Not because you need motivation, but because you need remembrance. Because in the noise of the world, it's easy to forget who you are. And that forgetting is what traps you in old cycles. But now, you know. You heard. You felt. Joe Dispenza teaches that when the mind unites with elevated emotion, it can change biology, reality, destiny. This is not just spiritual theory, it is science. It is practice. It is truth. Your biology responds to your spirituality. Your body listens to your thoughts. And your frequency determines the reality you experience. You are not broken. You are becoming. Everything you seek outside, purpose, peace, connection, fulfillment, begins here, within. And all that's needed is a choice. The choice to continue. The choice to trust. The choice to become the very change you wish to live. Breathe. Feel. You still have time. But the soul's time does not wait forever. And maybe, just maybe, all the universe needs from you right now is your yes. Yes, to the return. Yes, to the realignment. Yes, to a new reality already pulsing inside you. You are ready. The power has always been in your hands.